Well, look who's here. And today we're in the kitchen. Hi, just making sure you see me. There we go. We're in the kitchen, and the reason why is we're doing a really low-tech demo today. And we're going all the way down to the lowest that we can possibly do. And what we're trying to do is to set up a live performance rig for Zoom that's outside of the box. And when I say outside of the box, that means that everything is something you can grab your hands on. So in this case, we have three big ingredients, and let's take a look at what those are, which is an iPad and then a laptop. And then we have the most important part. This is a USB mixer. It's ancient. It's really old, but there's the USB output. And this is an ancient Alesis, but the thing that's cool about it is that it has reverb, which is really handy, and we can control it on right here on this knob on the channel, so I can turn it on and off depending on whether I'm singing or not. Then it also has a good monitoring output because I also have a control room out, so I can actually send some signals where you normally can't do on tiny little mixers like this. So it's going to help us out, but you don't have to have that in order to make this all work. So what's our other ingredients that we need? Okay, well, obviously, we're going to need some headphones. So I got my ancient, busted but repaired AKGs, and again, we're going completely low tech here. And then I've got my USB cable, which is going to go to my laptop, which will be running Zoom. Okay. Then I have a mini pin cable to two guitar cables type things, 1/4 inch is what you would call them. Now might not have that on your iPad, which means you'll have your little dongle, which also will work, and you would just put that in here for your lightning connector and then adapt as such, and that will work just as well. So at this point I have an older iPad here because, like I said, we're going low tech, and I'm going to put that in right into my headphone output on my iPad. So I'm getting ready to plug that in. Oh, don't forget, we need a microphone. Good old trusty Shure 58 beta guy. That's what we needed. Okay, here we go. Take a deep breath. All right, first off, the thing we know how to do so easy is we're going to plug our lovely microphone into channel 1. That was hard. Okay, pretty cool. Then we're going to take our USB cable. We're going to go into the back of our lovely Alesis here and plug it in, and there she goes. Come on, baby, let's make it happen. Thank you so much. All right, and around the ancient laptop, and again, we are going old. And we're going to plug in our little USB connection, and there we're good to go there. So now I am taking the output of my lovely iPad right there, and I am going to bring it into a stereo channel, which happens to be 5 and 6. So it's in, okay? Then I'm going to take my lovely headphones, and I can plug them in to my headphone out right there, and life is good. Okay, at this point we could actually do a performance, but here's the drag. You could be sending out to Zoom, but you can't talk on Zoom. So if your performance is going to be audience specific, then you will definitely want to bring the sound of Zoom back into your mixer. That's the tricky part. You can play this over and over again if you want, but the mixer has to have the right attributes to do that. In this case, I have it. So I am taking the headphone out of my laptop, and I am taking my RCAs, which, if your mixer does not have that, it could just be adapted. So my RCA plugs out, and this is a 2-track input here, which means that I can send this 2-track input to control room, which means I hear it in my phones, but it doesn't loop back. That's a funny word to use right there, but it doesn't feedback or turn around into Zoom and create a horrible thing when someone hears themselves talking through your own mixer. That is very important. So when you look at where my 2-track is, it is only controlled here, and it doesn't feed back into the left and right outputs. It goes to my ears, and that's the important part. Okay, this is where we're going to take a little pause, and we're going to review real quick in just 1 second. Here for a second and just look at the front of the mixer so you can see what I was plugging into. And then we'll come in a little bit tighter. And here we go. So we'll start looking at the the returns and the control room out in main mix and the 2-track ins and outs. Okay. And then you can take a good look at the knobs that were here and what they actually do. And notice I have the buttons for 2-track to mix, 2-track to control room, and mix to control room. And then there'll also be just a picture so you can look at it that way as well. Okay, now that you've had your coffee, it's time to review. So we're going to check it out again. So we have a USB mixer, so it's a little tiny stereo mixer. I've plugged my microphone into channel 1. I've plugged my iPad, which is where my backing tracks are going to be, into the lovely 5 and 6. Then, believe it or not, I took the output from my laptop and I returned it over here to control room in, okay, which is a signal that doesn't go back out the main mix. Think of it like a monitor mix where you're on stage and you only want to hear the click or you only want to hear certain people. So we can actually do that on this tiny of a mixer, and that's a very important part. Then the other important part to remember is now I can control reverb with this, and we'll demo that in a second because I can have reverb when I'm singing and then immediately turn it off when I'm talking, and I can adjust volumes for anything as we go. Now there's one thing you might want to say, it's like, Hatfield, how do I get my tunes into my iPad and everything else? It's always a mess in iTunes. And I say, well, I would recommend an app called AudioShare. The nice thing about AudioShare is you get a set list that you can change in any order or whatever. You have a good search thing. You can actually see the waveform and jump in wherever you want to play your tune. Plus you can then send it or move it all around. One of the ways that I would do that is I would say, well, I got stuff in Dropbox, so let's go there. And here's the tune I want to add. And let's get in nice and tight for that so you can actually see it really well. Okay? Here's the tune I want to add. And there's 3 dots next to it. And I'm looking at Dropbox on my iPad. And I push those 3 dots and I hold it. And all of a sudden I have options as to where I can put it. And I say that I am going to export it or copy it. So let's see what it says if I export it. And these are all the people that it could go to and all the apps that it could go to. And I can even go down here to the more 3 dots and even find more apps that are available for it to go to. Okay, so that's a cool bit there. So it could go anywhere, and notice there is lovely AudioShare. So I say send it. And it's playing in my headphones already. I can see the track right here. I can stop and start it with my buttons. It's good to go. And we'll be back after station identification. All right, we're rolling there. And we're back in the kitchen. All right, and here it is, our little rig set up for a little broadcasting on Zoom and singing along, playing along with tracks. Again, what we've set up is our lovely mixer, and this is my little ancient USB mixer by Lisa's. And I've got my vocal in channel 1, and here you're going to hear me turn on some reverb, and all of a sudden I'm deep in the tank if I want to be there, and now I'm bringing it back down to something kind of normal for talking, which is 0. Then I have my tracks coming back in through here. We can adjust those right now. Let's just play them. And so I still have complete control over those, how much that mix is in there. Also the complete EQ mix on it. So take out the bass, add the bass. So we get in the sound that we need, that we feel good about. Again, my headphones are coming back to me from the laptop into a line in that is not going out through the left-right. So only I hear what's coming back around that way. I am hearing my iPad right here, and that's the control for that. So now we'll give it a shot, and we'll see what happens if I try singing on this little sucker, and we'll talk over it even. So here we go. I'm going to talk over it. I'll turn it down while we get ready to sing. And what you don't know is I even have my music right here, and nobody knows, but I'm going to actually use it. And this is a tune I wrote, so we won't have any copyright issues. And we'll see how we sound. Here comes my reverb, and I'm dialing it in now. Just a little bit of trust Don't worry, things will fall in place if you let them go. Just a little bit of trust, don't hurry. You'll learn all you need to learn when it's time to know. All right, so now I can even back my tracks and talk over that and say, okay, coming up is the next is a bridge section, and I think you should pay attention to the 4 chord there because it's very important. And then I can bring in that right back up and dial it back in if I need to and come into it. The other thing I can do with my lovely AudioShare is I can stop my file right here, and as you can see here, this is a waveform that I can physically see, and I can actually move my cue with my finger and pick it up anywhere I want to. And there should be some background vocals coming in here later. So it all fits together. There it is. Okay. And again, I could crank that up if I need to. You'll see it, you will feel it when it's time. And I'm going to sing all that stuff. And I'm going to call it a day. And so I can stop that, I can jump back and forth, I can turn my reverb off, I've got my level control everywhere I need it to go, and that's how you go completely low-tech, out of the box, into Zoom. Hope it works for you. Alrighty, bye-bye.